We've been talking about what's changing in GSA's multiple award schedule and how contractors will have to respond. The next question is how industry is reacting, especially as agencies try to buy AI through systems that weren't designed for it. To take us there, I'm joined by Jim Carroll, CEO of the Professional Services Council. Jim, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Terry. It's always good to be on.
Earlier today, I had an interview with Dan Ramish talking about the legal details of GSA's new draft mass mod on artificial intelligence. I know that you are spending a lot of time talking to industry about that. Let's start with kind of what's at stake in this mod for contractors, especially when it comes to AI and emerging technologies.
Absolutely. And, the multiple award schedule, the mass, is just that. It's a great platform to allow consistent, good vendors to be able to sell their commercial products prearranged. It's a very efficient way to do business. And overall, it's something that our members support, and it's good government. It creates efficiency. So as a whole, we're very supportive of the mass, and the concept of a refresh is valid also. But there are some concerns with the way that it has been published, and we've been talking with our members. Terry, we represent 400 members, all who do business with the federal government. So this is something that we have been watching closely. We've been interacting I'd like to say daily, but really it seems like an hourly, since this was really a short time period to respond, to make sure that we're addressing some of the concerns while keeping in mind what the government really wants to do. The concern overall is that the comment period, the implementation timeline are quick. We're having to move very quickly. I think our policy folks that are working on this, I don't think they slept much over the weekend trying to assemble all these comments. And Terry, it sort of seems like we're never able to come on the show and say, oh my gosh, it's such a slow week with the federal government. And this certainly is proving that. So one is they're trying to move quickly, which again, we're happy to do that, but a little bit of a concern that they don't understand that this is actually a very complicated modification. And while we completely support the idea of safeguarding the artificial intelligence systems, it's a little bit rigid of a rulemaking process, a concept of what they're doing. And so we're putting together, the response, and we're really trying hard to negotiate and make sure that they understand this. One of the concerns, for example, Terry, is it doesn't seem to align. The proposed rule from GSA on the mass seems to be a little bit contrary to some of the other AI rules and regulations that other departments and agencies have come out with. And so, we're trying to incorporate all of that into it. Again, as I said at the beginning of the conversation, consistency and efficiency are great. It's great for the government. It's great for our members. But when you start having different federal departments and agencies with different guidelines, it kind of makes you scratch your head like, whoops, they don't understand. And so that's what we're working hard on.
Well, Jim, I suspect that some of your comments and work with GSA helped motivate the extension of the comment period. But as you're thinking through some of the internal conflicts that you just mentioned, from a contractor's perspective, what are the real-world challenges of trying to align AI? It's so fast-moving. It changes so much. And procurement structures were not designed with AI in mind. So how are your constituents dealing with that lack of clarity?
Boy, what a great question. It is evolving so quickly. And one of the things that worries us is that because it's evolving so quickly, it's actually inconsistent with the existing FAR Part 12 for commercial item principles, that I don't think that they have had the opportunity to really understand and allow some flexibility in this going forward. I mean, we're seeing AI change really overnight, every day, not just last night, but tonight. We'll wake up tomorrow and see more changes with AI. We'll talk about this hopefully in a second. We're actively involved in the AI space with our members. We had one of our folks go through the 400 member companies of PSC. More than half list AI on their homepage because everyone is using it. It is evolving quickly. We're seeing not only, AI generated bids coming in, we're seeing AI generated protests coming in and appeals. And so not all AI is good.
I'm speaking with Jim Carroll. He's CEO of the Professional Services Council. Well, let's pull the AI thread a little bit farther because it's showing up everywhere, as you said, especially in national security. And you've got an event today, PSC on the Hill, focused on AI and national security. Talk to us about what you're going to be talking about.
We are getting ready to run up to Capitol Hill. We're having an event this morning, and we're having 12 of our 400 companies give presentations, have conversations both with members of Congress and staff on the very topic of AI and how it relates to national security. These are some of our largest companies down to some of our most innovative, smaller, 8A companies. The big ones, like AWS, GDIT, Mantech, Maximus, SAIC, but also some of the smaller ones who are really just doing great things. Golden Key Group, iWorks. There are some wonderful companies that have some amazing products in the AI space. And it's no surprise we see this conflict going on in the Middle East. And the concern is hopefully we'll contain this and no other conflicts so we can start sleeping well at night. But we know this is a very real issue, not just for what's currently happening, but going forward. And so what AI does is really help keep us ahead of any of our adversaries. And so the president has said it, Secretary Hegseth has said it, and several other, quite frankly, secretaries have said it as well, that we need, as the U.S., to be the world leader in AI. One thing we're seeing right in this area, depending which way you drive, if you're heading out towards Dulles Airport, you see data centers everywhere. We're getting more and more involved in that space. And again, that's because of the need for these things, along with the power grid, to be able to support AI. We know it's mission critical right now. I heard, over the past weekend that they're using AI. I don't know if this is true, but they were using AI in targeting for the military about whether or not they can deploy lethal force. That's an interesting use of AI capabilities. And, Terry, I'm really happy this is radio because people can't see my gray hair. But for a person who's been in D.C. their entire life, that's a new concept for using AI to decide targeting. And so this is not a hypothetical world of AI. This is real.
So, Jim, as you're having these conversations today, two questions. One, what is your main point to lawmakers about AI and national security? And two, where do you see the biggest gap between perception and reality amongst the members of Congress?
I think there are some folks who don't understand that while AI is a wonderful tool, it does not remove the humans. At the end of the day, there still must be humans looking at this, making sure that the information that goes into AI is solid. So data governance is a big issue for AI, making sure that as I said, humans are still involved in the loop, and that the security of these AI systems is paramount, that we're able to use it in such a way that it is absolutely secure. Adversaries can't tap into it. And, we're seeing it across the board, not only at the Department of War, but across the intel agencies and across everywhere. Remember yesterday, there was the plane crash at LaGuardia Airport. And one of the things that I thought about in preparation for today's meeting on the Hill is, would AI, be able to more safely deploy fire trucks onto active runways? I would like to think such preventable tragedies might not happen with more advanced use of AI. So AI is going to be part of the future of FAA provisions. We've heard Secretary of Transportation Duffy talk about this. And so, again, I just don't think we can overemphasize the reliance and overnight advances that are taking place with AI.
I've been speaking with Jim Carroll. He's CEO of the Professional Services Council. Jim, thanks for sharing those ideas with us, and good luck with the conversations today.
Thank you. We're running up to the Hill, and so we'll hopefully see a bunch of people there.
We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.